Hey everybody, Meerkat here, and today we're gonna be talking about everything that In Stars in Time has to offer, like all of the pros and the cons of the game. This game just got released yesterday and it's about an adventurer who is stuck in a time loop just when they're about to face the final battle in order to save the world. Lucky for him though, cause that means unlimited lives. But this game also tackles some heavier emotional stuff, so yep, it is peak anime plot.
I smell emotional issues.
But there's a lot more to this game than just the plot. I'm talking about time loop mechanics and how they've incorporated the classic game of rock, paper, and scissors. So come on, let's talk about that. Before yapping about the game mechanics, I really want to stress out how well written this game is. The storytelling is a very strong point of this game, and I'm not gonna lie, just 10 minutes into it, and I got really hooked. Like, for realsies, just fell in love. At the very beginning, which is of course the tutorial phase, we're given a glimpse of the world's lore, their magic and combat system called crafts, and the characters' backstories and their group dynamics, which is just, wow, amazing. I got a bit of the Freyren vibes from it, except instead of telling the story of what happens after the final boss is laid, In Stars in Time tells the story of what happens the day before the big battle. So of course, all of the jitters are there. Our characters are filled with different emotions and they also have their different perspectives, like most of them are anxious, while others are still a bit hopeful. But I really like that Sif, our controlled character, can ask everyone in the party about their point of view too. Like we get to check up on them, ask how they're feeling, and what do they plan to do after the mission. And that, everybody, that is the hook. They were able to introduce and fit the world building and show how well written the characters are in the tutorial alone. Like, seriously, in those 10 minutes, I teared up a teeny tiny bit at Bonnie's little backstory and managed to even simp on our baby boy Isa, who is, by the way, a total cute baby girl. Yep, adding that one to cart. And the more that I get into the game, the heavier their topics become because each time you finish a floor in the dungeon, there will be like this cute little cutscene to rest up and check with your party. And it's great that the characters has raised objective points like discussing on what they should do if one of them ever dies, such as how would they like to be buried in honor if ever the rest of the party lives. And they also had some very valid display of emotions for someone who don't know if they'll still be alive in a couple of hours. So yeah, the game doesn't shy away on the topics of death, sadness, and all of the likes, but that's not everything that they talk about. Don't worry, it's nothing too dark, because their dialogues are also filled with a lot of jokes and puns that really just left me giggling by myself like a total creepo. But what I'm saying here is, it is not difficult to empathize with these characters, and they're more alive than some humans that you probably know. So if you are like me who is a sucker for great stories, then In Stars in Time could probably be for ya if you also dig the mechanics, which we will talk about next. In this game, you get to loop in time and fix all of your past mistakes, from the super dumb trap mistakes to the more sensible ones like actually dying in combat, which probably also wouldn't happen unless you're at the final boss. But we'll talk more about that later. Anyways, you can jump back and forth once you've cleared more floors at the house. And you can do this by, deliberately dying. But no, chill, it's nothing too grim. You just gotta touch a couple of tears or something. Literally. The jump will cause a couple of memory thingies that you get by slaying the mobs. The problem though is that the level of the party members, except for Sif, kinda resets whenever you jump. So you'd have to level them again to unlock some skills. Or, you can make them use a memory to retain just one skill. All the equipment that you got from the previous runs are also kept, so the only problem is really the skill reset. On the bright side though, there's a good amount of save points and a way to skip the dialogue, so it's nothing too irritating. And each time you get a do-over, some dialogues and events are also slightly changed while others would stay as it was. And even if you skip the dialogues, it automatically stops when an important change in the dialogue is mentioned. Whenever you get stuck on something too, you can always loop back at the very beginning and ask for some advice. And I personally think that nothing ever goes to waste when you loop back and forth even though your party's level resets. The classic game of rock, paper, and scissors are incorporated in the combat system of this game, and each round is actually very quick. It also kinda makes sense because our party is already high leveled when you start the game, since, well, again, we are beginning near the end of their adventure. You wouldn't be ending an adventure at level 1, would ya? But anyways, we can view this tree as the usual elements like fire, water, earth, and wind. It takes the same mechanics as the usual rock, paper, scissors game. So this means that rock types deal more damage to scissor types, paper types deal more damage to rock types, and so on. These three are also presented like skills, which are called crafts in this game, and they also kinda represent some trait like, for example, scissor types like Sif are fast like DPS, rock types like Iza are more like a tank, or characters with high defense, and paper type like Madame Odile are like magic casters because she can use any type of element and deals really heavy damage. Mob weaknesses is also very easy to tell because you can also see the common mobs' elements by checking their hands. If you are not sure, then you can always make Madame Odile examine it for free. But like in most turn-based game, when you found that just one technique that works for you, then everything will feel slightly repetitive. They were able to somewhat break that though because some mobs and mini-bosses like to switch their elements, which will force you to break your combo. This game also has no mana or SP, but it do have skill or craft cooldown, which means that you can only use your skills again after a couple of turns. And okay, I hear you panicking. But Mir, what about the heals? We can't spam that stuff? No, my good child, you cannot. But you don't have to worry at all when one of your party members die in combat, because all you gotta do is trigger a combo and then everyone will be revived, healed, and you also deal hella good damage. You'll also get by in this game if you're the type of player who likes to snoop around and interact with everything, because this game doesn't really highlight the important things that you have to interact with, except for a couple of keys. So you really gotta be snooping and interact with everything if you wanna make the most of it, because if you don't do that, then you would probably miss a couple of stuffs like equipment, potions, keys, and final boss stuff. But then again, you could also just go back in time to get them. The only thing that I don't like about the exploration in this game is that it'll really make you go back and forth, like maybe 3 times on one floor just to unlock all of the doors, and then there will be times when they'll force you to go back in time just because your character sucks at his job. Nice one, Sif! But the good news is, you can always pick the unlock all doors option when you jump back for missed quest items. And that's pretty much it about In Stars in Time. Overall, I think it's a delightful little game that's worth a try. What about you? Would you or would you not play this game? Let me know in the comments. Also, super thanks to our channel members and Patreons for your kind support as always. And also super thanks to Fern from Player2 for giving me a copy of this game. I enjoyed it very much. So thank you, Fern! Don't forget to leave that like and subscribe for more indie and cozy game discoveries coming your way. Bye-bye!